Hello, this is Becky Marshall of Becky Marshall Design with Yukgaejang, or Red Hot Korean Pot Roast. It's a slow-cooked, or in this case pressure-cooked, spicy beef and vegetable soup that I think is just perfect for people eating low-carb in winter, or anyone, but it is low-carb and keto-friendly. Before we get started, I must credit Chef John of foodwishes.com, whose slow cooker pot roast recipe I pulled technique from for this mildly Americanized version of Yukgaejang. Let's start by liberally seasoning the beef roast with salt and pepper. Yukgaejang is traditionally made with brisket, but brisket is expensive, so I used a chuck blade roast. Any big cheap hunk of tough beef is going to taste amazing in this recipe, so make your own decision. Do make sure to count the bones in the roast so that you know how many you need to pull out in the end. Next, lightly spank some cornstarch or flour into the meat. And I know, I can hear you from here. Becky, I thought this was a keto recipe, but you're using cornstarch? That's right. The starch is doing something important. It helps brown the meat, which adds flavor, and it thickens the soup liquid in the end. Remember, this is a couple tablespoons on 3 pounds of meat that can serve 8 people, so chill, keto police, it's gonna be okay. And move your giant hunk of beef into a hot, oiled, large skillet. We want it sizzling when it hits the pan, always. We are just browning the beef, not cooking it through, so let it sizzle for a couple minutes and check for a nice crust on the bottom, then flip. When it's browned, remove to a plate and reserve. Into the pan, add some anchovies. You won't be able to taste them, but they're a hidden flavor bomb. Add sliced shiitake or oyster mushrooms. Any mushrooms will work. Then add the sliced white parts of a leek, and then add your gochujang paste. This is a Korean red pepper flake mixed with oil and other seasonings. I use store-bought, but it has sugar in it, and you can make your own pretty easily. Add more or less to adjust spiciness. You know how we like it. And you know what they say. You sing the final song of your gochujang. Let this all cook for a few minutes until the mushrooms and leeks get softer and browner and sexier. Then turn down the heat and add in some minced garlic and sesame oil. Let the garlic cook for a little and take the raw edge off. We're almost done here. Pour in as much chicken broth as you want soup liquid. Stir well and make sure to scrape up any of that fond left in the pan. Add seaweed while this simmers down. It adds a whole other dimension to the broth. I used nori, that's sushi seaweed, because that's what I had. Koreans use a completely different seaweed called miyuk, or in Japanese it's called wakame. You should be able to find some seaweed in the grocery store. Put it in. When the mixture is done simmering, remove the seaweed. Don't forget to pour in the resting juices from your giant hunk of beef. That is good. So here comes the easy part. Into your Instant Pot, add some roughly chopped daikon, that's a large mild Asian radish. Add the green tops of your leeks. Slicing these on a diagonal will make yours look much nicer than mine did. And then place your browned roast on top of the bed of vegetables. It's okay if you have to shove it in. Pour your gochujang mixture on top of the pot roast. Put the top on your Instant Pot. Set it to stew for 1 hour and walk away. Slow releasing the pressure is always a good idea for low and slow pulled meats. When the Instant Pot is depressurized, open the lid and remove all the bones that you counted at the beginning of the recipe. You can also take this opportunity to skim off some of the fat. This is optional, and I didn't do it. Set the Instant Pot to sauté. We have some last ingredients to add. First, I'm adding something called gosari. That's Korean. The English translations of this vegetable are fernbrake, royal vegetables, fiddlehead ferns, bracken. They're pretty great names. I found mine pre-soaked in the refrigerator section of my local Korean grocery store, H-Mart. More frequently, you find gosari dried, and you soak it before you cook with it. You can find it on Amazon. I'll put a link in the description below. You can leave this vegetable out, but according to my research, a ton of Koreans call gosari their favorite part of Yukgaejang. It's up to you. Besides gosari, you'll want to add scallions, sliced into spears, a lot of them, and bean sprouts. Most Yukgaejang recipes recommend pulling the beef out to shred it into bits before serving, but you can just as easily serve this soup with big chunks of fork-tender, fall-apart beef. And I forgot one last optional step. Pour scrambled eggs over the soup and then turn off the heat to let them poach in the liquid. Serve in a bowl with a side of kimchi, not pictured. And there you have it, Yukgaejang. I think this soup is just delicious. It's full of fork-tender beef, an array of vegetables with an array of textures and mouthfeels, and a lot of red-hot spice. Of course, you can adjust how spicy you like it based on how much gochujang you add. And that was delicious. I think it turned out pretty great, and so did my friends, but that wasn't good enough for me, so I decided to specifically invite a Korean friend over. Thank you, Yejin, for being my sample size of one. Who knows if Yejin was just being polite, but she did give her formal stamp of approval. So that's it. Here's wishing you a happy holidays and delicious winter cooking. I really do hope you give this a try. Head to the description box below for a link to all of the ingredients and information you need. And as always, enjoy!